Sometimes in the sports world, there are events that happen that are hard for the fans, and even those that work with these athletes have a hard time wrapping their head around. The years of dedication that they spend following these people, following the sports they love, can leave people feeling entitled to the information that they want. However, not all sports news is tragic and horrible. Sometimes it's just plain strange. Today, we're going to get into that by discussing the truth behind Michael Schumacher's health, why it can never be revealed, and some other related sports news to keep you going. Number 1. Michael Schumacher, the famous Ferrari F1 racer, suffered a tragic accident back in 2013. The accident in the French Alps left him with a brain injury that has left him retreating to the privacy of his home in order to maintain some sort of normal life. For years, there's been speculation as to the state that Michael was in, including his own former manager making accusations against the racer's wife, claiming that she's the reason why no one has any information on the former F1 racer. He's made claims that she won't allow him to see his friend because he would reveal the truth. However, it seems as if there's a bit of insight finally reaching the public. In a new documentary called Schumacher, wife of the former racer, Corinna ends up revealing to everyone why it's not possible to just speak about his health so openly. In the interview, she broke down in tears to the filmmakers behind the documentary while explaining her side after years of accusations. According to Corinna, the privacy is there because it's what Michael would want. He was different after the accident, and she wanted to be able to protect him. She pointed out to filmmakers that her husband had spent years protecting them, and now it was their turn. She also went on to talk about how he loved this sport, but not everything else that went with it. He never liked being in the spotlight, and now that he's suffering because of that accident in the Alps, she's doing what she feels is necessary to give him the best possible life. The reveal of this information changes the game. Seems as if the lack of information presented to the public had nothing to do with evil intentions, and is focused instead on the best interests of Michael as he struggles with his own health. Number 2. Former NBA All-Star Cedric Caballas posts chilling images from ICU during COVID battle. We now live in a day and age where information can be passed around at the blink of an eye. This can be an extremely positive thing when trying to get information message across to the public. That was exactly what Cedric Caballas had in mind when he decided to take pictures of his stay in the ICU ward while battling COVID. His photos come after spending 10 days isolated in the ICU ward, the caption reading that he wanted prayers and that he was sorry to anyone that he had wronged. It's completely chilling, but it reminds us that this is something that can affect anyone and everyone. What's even more unsettling is that the announcement comes only 11 days after revealing that he had indeed contracted COVID, but was resting at home and would be better in no time. It seems that things took a turn for the worse, and in the images you can see him wearing a breathing mask while resting in a hospital bed. The official NBA Twitter account retweeted this update while giving support to the former NBA player, wishing him a speedy recovery back to full health. While Cedric was at the peak of his career back during the 94-95 season, playing with the Lakers, in the last few years he's gotten older and there have been health issues, including Cedric suffering a series of heart attacks back in 2012. The unfortunate part is that heart health contributes to the risks of COVID, and so fans and friends alike are hoping for the best for the retired NBA player as he fights to get himself back on his feet. Number 3, Evander Holyfield handed medical suspension after a knockout defeat. While it might not have been the wisest decision, Evander Holyfield decided to step back into the ring at the age of 58. Now, this was widely criticized as his age puts him in a higher risk than those younger than him stepping into the ring. He could suffer far worse injuries that might not have seemed as bad nearly 20 years ago. That didn't seem to stop him, and now, after a vicious knockout defeat, he's been placed on medical suspension. The Florida State Boxing Commission had originally been criticized for allowing the fight to take place to begin with. However, after the result of the match, they were the ones to issue the ruling on Evander Holyfield. This came after Holyfield was dropped twice by Vitor Belfort before the referee called the match. It had been 10 years since Holyfield had been in the ring, and the match had originally been denied by the California State Boxing Commission before being picked up by Florida. There was backlash for Vitor as well, people criticizing him for his victory celebration, claiming that it wasn't hard to knock out a 58-year-old man and that he hasn't really done anything impressive. The age of Holyfield affects reflexes and timing. So does how long he had been out of the ring. The fight overall should never taken place, and now Holyfield is left with injuries and a suspension on fighting because of them. Number 4, Raiders lose Marcus Mariota for multiple weeks. Marcus Mariota was a backup quarterback with the Raiders that hoped to incorporate fully into the new season. Unfortunately, this plan of theirs managed to make it only one play. On Monday night, Mariota had played one snap, running only 31 yards total before aggravating a quadriceps injury. This is going to leave him out of the game for several weeks to come. The biggest issue that comes out of this is that the Raiders failed to provide an in-game injury update, meaning they could be seriously fined by the league. At this point, while Mariota is out, Nathan Peterman will be promoted to number 2 quarterback, and Derek Carr will be expected to take all the snaps. There's no news as to how long Mariota will be out, but hopefully it's a quick and fairly easy return for the quarterback looking to make marks on the field. Number 5, Giants lineman carted off field after suffering serious injury. The New York Giants offensive lineman Nick Gates was hauled off the field during Thursday night's game after suffering a serious injury. The lower leg fracture happened in the first quarter of the game, and the seriousness of the injury was announced by the Giants later on during an in-game injury report. The injury occurred for Gates during the Giants' second offensive possession when he was overpowered by Washington defense lineman Jonathan Allen, with the lower portion of his leg appearing to bend sideways as he landed on the ground. The moment that it happened, the Giants medical team rushed the field to tend to Nick Gates, putting his leg in an air cast before hauling him off the field in a stretcher. As he was being taken off the field, the whole Giants team encircled their fallen teammate, wishing him well and expressing their condolences and support for him at the severity of his injury. There's still no update as to how long he'll be out of play. However, it's safe to say that it's going to be a long minute before Nick Gates will be seen on the field again. Number 6, Las Vegas Raiders DT Gerald McCoy out for rest of season. It seems that the Raiders are taking a lot of hits when it comes to their players this season. Defensive tackle Gerald McCoy suffered a season-ending knee injury during the game on Monday. While the game itself was an overtime 1-win against the Baltimore Ravens, he ended up losing his spot for the rest of the season when he was injured and carted off the field with 6 minutes and 31 seconds of regulated play left in the game. Coach John Gruden made the announcement on Tuesday right after it was revealed that right guard Denzel Good had suffered a torn ACL in his left knee and was now done for the rest of the season as well. In response to the loss of these two players, Raiders signed defensive tackle Damian Square and right guard Jordan Simmons to replace these two players for the remainder of the season. This is the second year in a row that Gerald had suffered a season-ending injury, having had a quad rupture during training camp for the Dallas Cowboys in 2020. He had come to the Raiders on a 1-year no-agent contract worth $1.25 million. It seems that he isn't going to enjoy earning that money as much as he thought he was going to when he originally took the deal. It's wild to see the ups and downs that come with sports, from small victories to major injuries. There's always something to look out for in the sports world, and this is only a touch of what is happening out there right now. However, that's all we have for today. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.